Hi Capricorn. This is Gina. Thank you for joining me. I just finished recording your horoscope for March. That will go up tomorrow, most likely. And I'm just taking a little time right now to check in with every sign to just kind of check in about the current astrology. There's so much going on, February, March, April, really, and beyond, that in addition to my horoscopes, which are on my channel every month, I'm also using some of this daily astrology chat live time, which is a check in that I do each day. Usually, I talk about the transits. And maybe I'll focus on one individual important transit that's happening right now, or I will do an overview of the current chart. But I thought I'd use this time to check in with each sign, just so that we can have some back and forth. If you feel like it, if you have any questions or anything you'd like to say about what's going on with you with the current astrology, and even if you're watching this later, feel free to leave it in the comments and I'll get back to you. So let's take a look at this current chart first of all. That is a really good place to start. I see this absolutely loaded Pisces house, right? You don't have to be an astrologer to look at this chart and have that jump out at you. Let's just kind of focus in on it for a second. Sometimes I use a visual here to sort of help with that. My hope is that if you're into learning more about astrology, then some of the visuals I have will help you. And if you want to just sort of listen and absorb the astrology in and of itself, you can do that as well. I hope it works for everyone. So, okay. So we just had our new moon in Pisces last night, yesterday. But that moon is still in Pisces all day today. So by this time tomorrow, I'm recording this in the morning on Friday morning, February 28th. By tomorrow morning, Saturday morning, the 29th, the moon will be getting ready to move on into Aries. So today, the moon will cross over all of these Pisces planets. So although the new moon in Pisces was last night, we're still very much in the thick of the Pisces energy at this time. For you, this is falling in your third house, Capricorn. Very interesting. Relates to potentially communication. Let's put these up. I think that this can be helpful too. Relates to communication, siblings, and also your local area. So sometimes people call the third house short distance travel, because the ninth house across the way is long distance travel. Yeah, let's do that. So local area in terms of just like the way you sort of navigate your community, the way you navigate your day-to-day, your immediate area, where you live. I mean, I know you know what local area means, but just to say those themes and your communication style and potentially relationship with siblings or family members, those are all themes that could be coming to the forefront at this time. And as you can see, there really are a lot of planets here and will be for quite a while. So this is a theme that's really opening up over the course of the next couple of months, but really the next 18 months as the North Node works through this house and sign. So we're talking about things like letting go of perfectionism with the South Node in Virgo. I'm just going to circle that because it is part of this signature, and I want to talk about it a little bit because I'm really falling in love with the South Node in Virgo. We move toward the North Node in Pisces. We move away from the South Node in Virgo. But there's more to it than that. Let's just focus on this for 1 second. The South Node in Virgo is all about wherever the South Node is traveling, it gives us the opportunity to let go of the negative or more difficult sides of that signature and welcome in the more positive sides. So for all of us, wherever this is falling in your chart, we're all sort of working on themes around letting go of the negative sides of Virgo, which can be perfectionism, overdoing, over planning, needing to sort of really hone in on details and get it just right. We're letting go of that a little bit. And what we're moving toward is like this looser, dreamier, more mystical Pisces energy. And also the positive sides of the Virgo qualities. So the highest forms of the Virgo signature are service and authentic connections with others and really wanting to help in practical ways without judgment. You know, it's actually, once you remove criticism from the Virgo signature, it's so beautiful. And then the the positive Pisces signatures that we're moving toward as well, and just Pisces in general, this mystical connection with others, more healing. I think it's like we're letting go of, okay, I need to control these relationships. I need to control what I'm going to do. I need to control the way I move through the day and my routine. I need to maximize my efforts, da 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 da, that sort of overdoing, um, overly cerebral approach to life. It's as if we're putting that down a little bit and we're realizing that caring for our own inner peace and vibration and mystical connection to others and to ourself, caring for our ability to listen to our inner voice, making sure we've gotten a good night's sleep and something healthy to eat so that we're feeling good, so that we can tap into the highest potential of the day. Things like that. That's sort of the kind of work that we're doing right now as these nodes move through these houses and signs. And this new moon that we had last night and that we're still in the energy of today and for the next day as the moon moves over these planets, there's been something quite heavy about it. A lot of qualities of emotional healing coming up, healing on other levels, healing of habits and routines, healing health routines that don't make sense and that aren't serving, working on mental health in a different way. Pisces can be about mental health, and just learning more and more how to come in and out of that tangible reality, taking our wisdom and our guidance from something deeper, something more spiritual, and then moving in the world. Tapping into that inner strength somehow in order to get us through whatever challenges, whatever's happening around us. I do want to talk about another part of the chart for you that's incredibly significant right now. I want to tie this in before I go any deeper. I want to talk about the relationship theme over here. Let me just add a couple visuals for the chart for anyone joining later. So I want to say releasing perfectionism for that Venus, or for that North Node in Virgo. And then I want to label this one as relationships. And I do sort of mean romantic relationships, so let's put it with a heart. This is another area of the chart that's very, very active for you right now, Capricorn. Talking about the seventh house. The seventh house rules your closest one-to-one relationships. So this could be a romantic relationship, like your relationship with your spouse or romantic partner. It can also be a business partner or someone that you live with, really anyone that you really share your life with. And Mars has been traveling through this house and sign for weeks. And now Mars has stationed direct. So any difficulties, I don't want to say difficulties. It's almost like you've been going through a process with Mars retrograde in this house. And now you have you have a better feeling. It's sort of like the black cloud may have lifted a little bit. If there has been some drilling down in relationships for you the last few weeks, maybe even the last couple of months, now you may be sort of turning the tide on that. And now's the time when you can start to make progress on what you learned through those challenges. It's like emotional things have been able to come to the surface that usually couldn't come to the surface. So it may be that you were able to tap into some emotions that you usually aren't able to and share that with a partner, or they were. Perhaps your partner was showing up a little more emotionally than usual. I have to say, anytime I see Mars in the seventh house, it can sometimes be being a little bit angry with your partner or your partner being a little bit angry with you. You know, there can be arguments and conflicts sometimes with that placement. And normally Mars just moves through in a couple of weeks, but Mars has kind of been hanging out here. But it's not been the normal Mars through your seventh house time. This has been meant to bring something up to help you learn and grow and heal with, right? It wasn't just a passing annoyance or something like that. Emotional work has been able to be done that normally isn't, and that ultimately strengthens and grows and develops your relationship on a whole other level. So, however, when Mars was retrograde, we can sometimes feel not as confident as usual, not as motivated. And it could be that you were feeling this way in your relationship or your partner was feeling this way, you know, not as confident, not as motivated. And now that Mars is retrograde, that might be feeling better. I think now that Mars is direct. Mars direct is a good feeling. Mercury retrograde gets a lot of attention, and we actually do have that coming up in a couple of weeks. But um, Mars retrograde, it can feel so heavy. It can feel difficult to like have the energy and motivation to take action on things. We aren't feeling as confident. And especially this was happening in Cancer where Mars isn't quite as happy. But Mars has been going through an important emotional process, and you've been doing that in your seventh house related to relationships. And this is work that will benefit you for months and years to come. So, hopefully, if anything there has been difficult, you're noticing now it beginning to feel better. Any conflicts are being resolved. If something was feeling a little heavy or unmotivated, lack of confidence, just sort of difficulty getting moving forward, it should be feeling better now. There's just been so much sensitivity. You know, I'm just struck by all this water. Water, 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 water. You know, um, Pisces is a water sign, Cancer is a water sign. And I think that it's sensitive. And I mean sensitive in every capacity, right? So people might be sensitive, and we might be sensitive to criticism, to uh, what others are saying. We might be more sensitive to how we're feeling. You know, this can be part of why health stuff can kind of come up. You notice a little thing in a different way. It can also be sensitive in terms of spiritual sensitivity. It's also sensitive in terms of just being absorbent of the energy around you. This is a time where if you go somewhere where there's a lot of energy, you can really pick it up. You know, if there's a lot of positive energy, you can pick that up. And if there's a lot of sort of anxiety or rushing or fear or worry, that will, you know, with all of this water, feel a little bit heavier often than it normally does and a little bit harder to shake off. With all this Pisces energy, we're all sort of getting a little bit of a taste of what it's like to sort of be a Pisces. And it's not easy. They are sensitive and absorbent and emotional. So there's always a lot of activity sort of underneath the surface with all of this. But I think today is a good day to go a bit slow as the moon passes over Saturn and then Mercury and then the North Node and then Neptune all today. Activating a more sort of emotional connection to these third house themes that you've been working on so much lately. And I think it's a great time to get a little extra rest. I think it's a great time to bring in anything with water, drinking water, walking near water, taking a bath, having a swim if you can, if you live in an area where that's possible. And yeah, I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you watching. I don't see anything in the chat. And your horoscope for March will be out by tomorrow, by the end of the day tomorrow, I'm almost certain. And this new moon eclipse is actually covered in the February horoscope. So you might want to check that out as well. And just thank you so much for watching. I'll be back again tomorrow, Capricorn.